And I'm a middle school teacher. Today I'm going to show you how to plate your samples that you've collected from the field. So here I have my prepared fungal plates and my prepared bacterial plates. If you need to learn how to make these, you can reference the plate making protocols that are included with our lesson plans. Before we're ready to plate anything, we need to make sure we have all of our labels done. So I've labeled all my plates with bulk sample, rhizosphere sample, and endophyte sample, along with the date that I'm plating. The next thing we need to do is work on diluting each of our samples. So I've prepared these microcentrifuge tubes and labeled each of them as well. When we do our dilutions, it's really important that we all use the same percentage dilution for reporting our data so that our data is comparable. I've already added 9/10 of a milliliter of distilled water to each of my tubes, so I can go ahead and make my dilutions all at one time. In order to make my 10% dilution, I'm going to take 1/10 of a milliliter of my bulk sample, trying to avoid as many particles as I can. That one's much better. So here I have my 1/10 of a milliliter. I'm going to add it to my 9/10 of a milliliter of distilled water to make my 10% solution. I'm going to shake my tube up a little bit to get everything mixed together. Now I'm ready to take 10% or 1/10 of a milliliter from my 10% solution and add it to my 1% tube in order to create a 1% dilution. Now I'm going to clean my pipette with my 10% bleach solution and rinse it out with water before moving on to my next sample in order to prevent contamination. Now I'll repeat the same process with my rhizosphere sample and my endophyte sample. Great. Now that we have our 10% solutions made and our 1% dilutions made, we'll be able to plate straight from these samples. It's important that we dilute all of our samples in order to prevent overgrowth. I'm going to start by plating on my fungal plates with my 10% solution. I'm going to want to put 1/10 of a milliliter of my 10% solution on each of these plates and make sure that my labels correspond with the sample that I'm using for each of the plates. So I'll start with my bulk solution. So my bulk 10% is going to go on my bulk fungal plate. I'm going to go ahead and deposit my samples right into the middle of my plate. So it looks like a little drop of water almost. Set my pipette to the side. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that my stirring rod, or if you're using a marble, your marble is sanitized with your 10% bleach solution and rinsed with your distilled water. Now in order to plate it, I'm going to take my lid off. I'm going to spread this all out as much as I can and spin my plate so that everything gets spread evenly. Now I'm done with my bulk fungal plate that was plated with my 10% solution. I'll set it to the side and move on to my rhizosphere sample. And my endophyte sample. Now that I've finished plating all of my samples on my fungal plates, I'm going to plate the same samples onto my bacterial plates, but this time I'm going to use my 1% dilution. have all of my samples plated on both a fungal plate with a 10% dilution and a bacterial plate with a 1% dilution. Now all I have to do is take these up and wait 72 hours so they'll be ready for counting.